I don't know if you got this question before, and you're probably sure you probably did at some point in the past, but I always wondered why they're the Big Four and not the Big Five.
Oh, that's so funny. I was just talking to Aram about this yesterday.
Interesting. So
the question comes up often.
what are your thoughts? I mean, to me, when you talk about the 80s scene of thrash, it's almost unspeakable not to mention Testament as part of that lineup, you know? And I don't know, what's your take on that?
Yeah, interestingly, I have no problem with it.
Okay.
Because I look at it as a seniority thing.
Right.
Right. So I joined Testament in like very late '85. I think my first gig was like early '86.
Right.
After a couple. So 1986, what happened? You know, Metallica releases Master of Puppets. They're already on their third record, and they were on their way to becoming one of the biggest bands in the world, which was clear.
Good point.
Even that, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't clear they would be like that level, but still, they were going to be the biggest. We knew they were going to at least be as big as like Iron Maiden, Scorpions, and at that time.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So they're already like off and running. Slayer was released Rain and Blood that year.
Okay.
After having several albums out, Anthrax had several records out. I think at that point Megadeth was on their second record. So that all those bands had, they were past their first record. They were all off and running at the time. The classic Testament lineup was just forming.
Right.
So how do I'm fine with that. I mean, they were there first, and they were doing big things, and we came along a little later. But
right.
I have no problem with them. Those groups being classified together.
And Van Halen, was that something?
Huge influence.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was probably my biggest influence.
Really?
Eddie on the first Van Halen record, yeah.
I
mean, the whole first wave of Van Halen, pre-Sammy Hagar. And I love Sammy Hagar. I love Van Halen. Together, I prefer them. I prefer Van Halen with Dave.
Really?
I prefer Sammy's solo stuff, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're more of a David Lee Roth sort of
I mean, no comparison.
For you. Okay.
Yeah, especially that first record is still amazing.
It's
still
legendary. Yeah.
I can take that out and just play along to it, just to brush up on some stuff, and I'm inspired.
Whoa,
yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, there's very few albums like that.
Did you have a poster of Eddie Van Halen, and there's like, one day I'm gonna be just like you, Eddie?
I didn't have like a giant poster, but I had some pictures. Yeah. But you got to be careful what you wish for. You never really want to be just like someone because he's the same guy that Sammy wrote this book about. That's like really a very troubled individual,
right? Yeah,
who seems he seems much better now, thankfully. But
it's interesting with these bands. It's you read about these bands like Van Halen and Guns N' Roses and their history and their rock history, and it almost makes what makes the music. Well, I don't want to say the music, but just what makes it a different package is when you know their history and like what sort of drama they went through to get to where they got to. Eddie Van Halen being who he is, but he's also this amazing musician, and you can't have that amazing musician without some of the baggage that comes with it.
Right.
It's just him. He's an artist. And
true artist. So But came with a lot of baggage.
Right, I'm sure, yeah. And so, looking back now, and I'm looking at some of the more recent stuff that you're doing, and one of your latest records, or the latest record you just guys released with Testament. I was reading some of the interviews with Chuck Billy and Eric Peterson saying that it was kind of a tough time writing that record. I never understood why that was. Is there something that happened there that was interesting that you could share with us here?
Well, I think by the time that record was being worked on, like so many touring opportunities came to Testament.
Okay.
And Testament is a band that really needs to focus to not be on the road when writing a record.
Right.
I've heard about bands that can work on music on the road. It's really tough, especially now. Especially because to make it sound different. So the band was touring a lot, and it just got to the point where a record needs to be done, and needs to be done very, very quickly.